Hey everybody, welcome to NFFB. We're your hosts, Andy, Reed, John. This week's chapter?
680.
Once again, love is on the floor.
We was doing this for like 5 minutes before we started recording, and we're like, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was just, that was it.
That was it. I really didn't have much else for a song. But, check me out on iTunes. My album is going to be dropping soon, so, yeah. You know,
Big John, once again,
it's my latest single. Number one on the iTunes, number one charts, whatever they call it.
Hit shop.
You're moving mountains, everyone else is like, learning how to read and shit.
Yeah, e-shop, store, marketplace.
So chapter 680.
To be completely honest, at the end of the chapter, I was kind of like, but, I mean, stuff happened. It was there, you know.
They basically get teleported to hell? Is that what happened?
Yeah, so it looks like they actually just are in a different dimension, as Kakashi says. I do this a lot. I don't know why. I don't even think that was like.
No, that's not appropriate because it's like it is a different dimension.
Maybe
Maybe like dimension.
Yeah, like
breathing. So yeah, one of the things in the chapter, and I feel like I'm being a little redundant. If you watch like the last few videos, it's just been me saying like, oh, Sasuke's been like this, and Naruto's been like this. But once again, we get to see like the difference between Sasuke and
Apples
Naruto.
and oranges come together to make a one awesome fruit.
What is it called?
An orpal? Is that what they're called?
I don't know.
Oh.
Is that a thing?
Could you imagine if like it had like the apple skin and then like an outside layer of like a little bit of apple and then the core?
We should create a fruit called the vorpal fruit.
So all it is just like the rind of an orange with an apple core in the middle and none of it's apple.
Outside of it. No, I was gonna say reverse that, where it's like the inside of an orange and then the apple
That's what
outside.
I was saying, but I want a little bit of layer of apple though. I want to like taste a little apple in there, you know. I want to be like the earth, like the inner and outer core.
This is a weekly word discussion.
It is.
Okay. Turn in for the weekly word. We're talking about vorpals. Alright, so Sasuke is all like...
But Sasuke, yeah, he's being a dick, but not really.
Well, I did like the part where it's like, the only reason why Kakashi and Sakura are still in this picture is because you were next to them when
I was saving you.
Yeah.
And got caught up in it.
yeah. And then
Don't get distracted.
and then Naruto was like, yeah, that's why I was over there, because I knew. He's like, my body's moved on its own. Flashback.
You know,
I kind of like the
the
call.
whole body moving on its own thing, it bothered me a little bit because
I thought it was just a callback.
no, it is, and the whole thing with Zabuza and that situation compared to like the end of the world, it's not the same, Naruto. Like, get your shit together. Honestly, you can't compare like
Full circle.
No, but part of it's they're fighting to save their world and save the people that they know.
Yeah.
That's how
And the world is a bridge. The world is a bridge. That's really what it is.
But to be completely honest,
Rainbow Bridge.
Rainbow Bridge.
Kakashi and Sakura would actually be safer had Naruto not.
Well, no, they'd be in Tsukunomi.
Yeah, I know, but at the moment, no one's being like,
Transmogrified into white Zetsus,
they're not being killed. Their chakra's being drained, but right now, Naruto not only has to try to fight Kaguya and
There's no guarantee at this point that the people in the cocoons can come out of the cocoon.
Yeah.
Say they're half digested already. You don't know.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, he has to fight protecting Sakura and Kakashi, as well as fighting the most powerful opponent that he's ever seen. So, yeah, I know.
Yeah. It seems like he's got it on lockdown, but yeah, kind of proving that point of listen, we have to keep our head in the game.
Yeah.
Yes, but we've also got to protect folks.
I thought it was kind of cool that, I don't know her name. What's her name? Kukura? Cuckoo.
Who?
I'm gonna call Kaguya? Is that what it's
Kaguya.
Princess.
Kaguya.
Yeah, whatever.
Space Bunny.
Yeah, Space
Kaguya.
Bunny. It was kind of cool how she used the Byakugan to like target the Hawk's chakra points, because it was like, because it's always really about the Sharingan or the Rinnegan. Like, it's never about Byakugan. It's like, whoa! I'm glad they were able to like incorporate that somehow, like the
She
fact
seems
that
to be using that more than anything.
which is kind of cool. I thought that was kind of cool.
I wonder what her third eye blind does.
Okay.
That was the name of the title of one of our old videos.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
That's
just
why I
making a
said
joke about the band.
I mean, yes.
It was
Yeah.
the other one, but that's why I referenced
That's
it.
why I laughed.
I can
So
tell.
it's funny.
Anyway,
Jokes.
yeah.
One of the cool things you noticed was in Naruto, like, learning how to fly. And
Learning or just? He didn't seem like he was learning. He just seemed like he
well,
just
not,
did
not
it.
learning, just
Flying.
doing it.
yeah.
It's like, guys, I can fly.
Look at me.
Yeah, guess what? Not only does he grab Kakashi and Sakura and Sasuke, he grabs the bird as well.
Before that, though, which I did, I like the bird saving thing, and like it goes to show Naruto's personality. I think Sasuke would have let it just die, but Naruto's like, no, bird, don't fall. And then it like just disappears. Like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, it's
What the hell did you get me into?
Yes.
Yo, Kakashi was on some ill shit though, with the kunai attached to the scroll and making the rope, and then
shooting
also
it.
saving.
Yeah, through Obito's hand to save Obito.
Like,
If nothing else, Kakashi's always been a sorcerer.
yeah, he like, I have a paper clip and a rubber band. I made a gun. Like,
Yeah.
so that was really really cool to see that Kakashi's still like your number one ninja.
Using ninja tools.
Yeah, right. Like actually.
Yeah. I did like when they started to burn, and it was just like burn,
Yeah,
burn, burn.
Like, oh, well, that's the sound that burning makes.
Burn.
Burn.
Translation for you.
But yeah, Sasuke's not really trying to save anyone. Like,
No, he's the big picture guy.
Oh yeah, he's like, I want to save everyone.
Yeah, he knows what's at stake. And he's like, no, we got to do this. I did like the fact that all the Hokages were all like, hey, we're fine now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is weird. What happened? Let's go see.
Is
Yeah.
Madara defeated? Let's go find out. Giant chakra. I have no arms.
Yeah.
Just a flesh wound.
I mean, it's a good thing that the Hokages can show up and possibly help because their experience will definitely play some.
In what way? At this
It's
point,
not, it's
like,
not even about the power though. Because first off, the first Hokage is a beast. I get
yeah,
that,
but he's
like,
not like on.
No, I understand it, but his understanding.
Isn't it weird that we're talking about the first Hokage? He's not on Naruto and Sasuke's
Yeah,
level
like,
anymore. Because I remember several like almost a year ago, we're like, there's no way Sasuke and Naruto are gonna be like
strong.
Why is the first here? The first is just everyone loves the first. The first is amazing, and everyone's like, it's the first.
Yeah, like he's just one of those other ninjas.
He's just a ninja now.
Yeah. I wish that Itachi could have, like, it would have been so cool to see Itachi part of this battle. I mean,
Yeah, that'd be cool. But then he'd be like, oh yeah, Itachi, hero of the world.
Yeah, he would have been like, oh, everything has a weakness, Madara's dead. Oh.
Yeah, he has a weakness except me. Because I have the
Itachi
invincible
is
shield.
amazing. I can see everywhere. I'm so good. Oh my god, did I tell you I can walk on water? Oh, that's so cool.
All ninjas can walk on water,
I
right?
know, but
Okay.
Itachi can walk on water
He's
even
only
better
came back
than
from
that.
death to save his brother from his sins.
Yeah, is there anything that Itachi can do?
Live.
And much better Martyr with Dan.
Man.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say about the chapter?
I mean, the Hokages are showing up. Naruto does like that Hadouken thing against like those giant fists. Cool.
And then what? Sasuke takes
Sasuke's got his like
Susanoo towards the.
ultimate Susanoo.
Mhm.
I'm gonna cut you in half, which isn't gonna work because that wouldn't have worked against Madara. So why do you think that this is gonna work this time? But do you think he's gonna cut her in half and like, we saved the day, yay!
Everybody, let's go home.
Yeah, like, good job, everyone. Wrap it up, team.
Well, the last time he jumped in with his sword, it worked really well.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
wait,
It's dead in the heart.
But this one's a giant magical sword. Chakra sword.
No,
Giant magical sword through the giant magical heart.
Yeah.
you know, why doesn't Sasuke like combine his element with Susanoo? Like, why doesn't he make it like lightning ultimate Susanoo?
I don't know what anyone's abilities are anymore, so I'm just gonna point it out that I guess like so the reason why they couldn't use like elemental shit on Obito was because he had like that like null field, right? So they had to put Sage Chakra and everything.
But now Sasuke has that other chakra so that he can use like the black lightning whatever thing. So why doesn't he combine that with his Susanoo? Like, think out of the box, bro.
Because he needs to know that this isn't gonna work.
He has unlimited now. Like,
He has unlimited mana.
yeah,
Where he's like popping potions.
yeah, all the time, you know. Cause like Naruto does his Biju Bomb mixed with like Rasengan. mixed with
Wind
like
chakra?
lava elements and things like
Yeah,
that. So
he's
like,
popping out like 5 or 6 of them.
yeah, like why? Come on, man.
When against the meteors, he's just.
Yeah, let me master all of the techniques. Waddy. um.
Those chapters and stuff happens.
Happened. Next week we should probably get some more fighting. I think we're gonna settle in for a long fight.
There's got to be some sort of reveal chapters at some point. Naruto's gonna be like, "What do you want?" And she's
Still
gonna be like,
don't know anything.
"Long
about
ago, when I was growing up."
Kaguya.
Yeah, there's got to be that whole like.
But right now she's not a character.
When I was a young lad.
Yeah, villain. Naruto tries to talk her down. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have any kind of character.
I'm glad that Madara wasn't like, oh yeah, I realized they were my ways.
Yeah, like, let's go home, guys.
Finally.
Let's go
Yeah,
home.
no, he died the warrior's death.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shitty warrior's death. He got backstabbed, but at least he got taken down as opposed to,
That's what he gets for being evil.
What do you think Orochimaru's dream world is like? Do you think it's just him annihilating everyone with 1,000 techniques?
18
No, it's him bringing his parents back to life.
Yeah, yeah, he might just grow up with his parents.
Same as Sasori, same as all the others.
They all have parent issues.
A lot of people with parent issues. Kabuto with parent issues.
Well, besides Kisame, he didn't seem to have parent issues. He was willing to kill shit.
Yeah, well.
Kisame?
Yeah. Man, Akatsuki. Remember that was a thing?
Yeah.
They were pretty cool.
They were cool.
The big bads.
Cool guys.
Remember when we didn't
They're
know
like
who
the Ginyu squad.
Remember when we didn't know who the leader was?
He was just the shadowy guy with spiral eyes.
And he was like, oh man, so ominous.
Yeah. That was a
And
great
then
fight.
when they revealed
Oh my
him,
god.
he
The,
was like,
yeah, the fight between Pain and Jiraiya.
oh my god, that was
That was
such
such a good fight.
That was such a good, like, reading it and watching it. That was that one kick that Jiraiya does to the dude's eyes. Yo, he shit kicks the shit out of him, bro. Like, you ever get kicked so hard in the eyes you just go blind? You're like, damn, that happened, bro.
With the big wooden sandals.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that was his shin that he hit him with.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, he was just like, yo, your day is done. Just go to sleep. Man.
Yeah.
That was a really good
fight, yeah.
See, but that's
Alright.
the thing, like, certain characters, like Jiraiya, Itachi, like, all those characters, when you saw them fight, they were on, like, some awesome shit, like, all the time. That's, like, watching Naruto and Sasuke fight, they do the same things time and time again. Like, I'm gonna use a giant Rasengan, now I'm gonna use a Rasengan mixed with this element, now I'm gonna use Sasuke, Amaterasu sword.
You know, I think it's a problem. It's an exposure problem. This is going long, and maybe this isn't really something to talk about now. But I think it's an exposure problem where like Naruto and Sasuke are in the manga more than.
How many times did we see Jiraiya fight?
Yeah, because like
Once.
Yeah, but
you get used to the.
but it wasn't even.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, this is the same problem with a lot of books that you read, where like the main character seems bland in comparison to all the other characters because you spend all the time in the head of that character. Like I was actually talking to someone about Harry Potter, and they're like, Harry Potter compared to like Hermione and Ron is really bland, because he's like, well, yeah, because all the motivations and all the things he thinks about are talked about. So then it's like, well, Ron's like, hey, like I'm doing all these interesting Ron things, and then Hermione's like, hey, I'm super unique too, and then Harry Potter's just like the kid that goes to wizard school. Like he's like a really average guy that just gets put in weird situations. But that's because you see him more often.
I don't think so.
Really?
No, because I think that Harry was all around very average, and it wasn't because you saw him a lot. I think it was that because of.
Well, there's nothing that can surprise you because you always were in his head. Is what I'm saying.
But even if you weren't, I don't. And this book was based around like Neville or whatnot, and Harry was like Neville's friend.
Oh my god, how great would that be? The book where it's like this one guy is just doing all these amazing things, and you're just like, yeah, I guess like that group is just doing all this stuff.
Wow, look at those guys.
Those guys are super cool.
Them from leaving the common room.
I'm gonna read my herbology book.
But anyway, skipping Harry Potter.
Yeah.
The reason why I think, like, I disagree with that even when it comes to Naruto is when Jiraiya fought, the things that he was doing, he wasn't just doing. He pulled out like the giant Rasengan once, and the guy absorbed it, and he was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna move on. And he started using a lot of taijutsu. He was thinking a lot. He was analyzing the situation. He realized what was important in the mission. And then at the end, when he pulls out that genjutsu and kills 3 of the pain same thing. Like, he pulls out a lot of, like, cool and unique moves that you don't see very often. Same thing with Orochimaru. Like,
because they're not always fighting.
Hey, can I make a counterpoint? What if the Naruto versus Pain fight was the one Naruto fight that you saw ever? How much of a badass would he look? He comes in, he just drops one straight from the sky, and then hits another one with double Rasengan's, does this ultimate move that no one's seen before, throws his chakra.
The thing is, I think that Naruto was probably the start of me kind of disliking what was going on with Naruto and Sasuke. Because right at that point, that was also when Sasuke was fighting B. Like, that's when, like, about the time when Sasuke was trying to get after Itachi and everything like that.
Right.
At that point, both of them just started getting these crazy power-ups and relying on the same things over and over again. And there hasn't been any, like, that whole feeling of, like, wow, these guys kind of seem like ninjas has, like, completely gone. That Pain fight, there was still, Naruto had to think a little bit. Remember when he goes and tries to punch, where he swings and punches and tries to punch one of the Pains, and he misses, but then he uses the aftershock to hit him. Then he uses the Sage Nature technique, or Sage Chakra to turn the other guy to stone because he absorbs chakra. Like, that was them thinking and everything. Now,
It was a smart fight.
it's like, let me just use a giant sword and cut Obito in half. And there we go. I win. Yay, overpowered you.
Actually had to use some skill instead of just power levels. My power is higher than yours, therefore.
Yeah, exactly.
There's definitely an argument to be made that at a certain point these guys got powerful enough that it's no longer ninja battles, it's just
Magic.
power battles.
Yeah, exactly. Because even with Itachi, like, he always is analyzing. Jiraiya is always analyzing. Orochimaru is analyzing and reacting to the situations. Like, because they know what their limits are. They know what they can and cannot do. Naruto and Sasuke don't have limits. Their limits consist of them hitting a point and then breaking past that point because they don't actually have limits. They can't have them.
Welcome to being the main character.
I know. I mean, that's kind of a concern. I mean, maybe I'm looking for too much.
An ending point for that character in mind as an author.
Yeah.
And you're just, constantly going because you need to keep going somewhere. I got 4 books. There's really no limit for your character.
Yeah. No one thought Sasuke would end up with a flying armored demon when he used Lion Barrage against Rock Lady. No one. You couldn't foresee that coming. You just had to keep upping the ante, and it will continue to be upped and upped and upped until the end.
Yep. I mean, it's just like, why even become a ninja? Like, that's how I would feel.
Why did I spend all this time learning how to make shadow clones?
If these guys are just
Like,
freaking wizards anyway.
If you were watching, like, the UFC and you just saw Anderson Silva one punch, like, literally one punch. Just one punch. Every single fight he was in, he, like, walked up calmly, just went boop.
I wish Matt was here because he would totally tell you about the manga where it's called, like, One Punch or something.
Man, me and Reed.
We've been screaming about One Punch Man for the past couple months.
It's
okay.
awesome. But,
It's real good.
Yeah, if that just happened where, like, this guy just, every single fight he was in, just like, boop, boop, and, like, they just went to sleep, and it wasn't even a challenge, you would feel no motivation, like, why am I going to try to become a fighter? This guy's obviously just going to boot me in the face, and that's going to be it. It's kind of like with Naruto and Sasuke, they're so strong, I would look at them and just be like, it's not even like
I would become an accountant rather than become a ninja.
Yeah, it's like, at that point, it's like, I can't aspire to be like that because there's no chance of me becoming a god. That's what they're at, so. I mean, whatever.
Alright, well, it's not, we're good.
Should poop